Hi, and welcome back to Ken Goes Cruising. In this episode, we're going to be talking about our favourite things when we cruise.
We've made so many friends while we've been on board cruise ships. I don't think we ever believed that we would make that many. A lot of it was due to playing shuffleboard and getting involved in other aspects of cruising life. But some of the friends we've met quite by accident, and they have become friends for life.
Yeah.
So you can never tell what's round the corner or who's round the corner. But that, to me, has been one of the most interesting things, because you really don't know who you're going to meet, what background they have, and the common interests that you find you have.
One of the other things that cruising is well known for is food and drink, of course, and we enjoy that aspect as well. It's nice to try different foods. It's nice to try quality foods. And we do like to try the odd cocktail or two and investigate what they like, don't we, dear?
Yes, occasionally. Yes, we make it a mission to try odd ones here and there, because you can't tell what it's like until you've tasted it.
I know you've made some firm ferrets. You're very fond of a Long Beach iced tea.
For you?
And a Bloody Mary on occasions.
Oh, well, it has to be the right barman for the Bloody Marys, I'm afraid.
You're very fussy about your Bloody Marys. But no, we enjoy the speciality restaurants. It makes you feel special. We sometimes dine outside of an evening in port. And yeah, the food is very special to us. And the fact that you haven't actually got to cook yourself.
Or do the washing up.
Yes.
So we do like to go dining in the speciality restaurants. The Epicurean is a favourite of ours. We frequently go there. Sindhu is a favourite of Ken's.
Yes.
Not necessarily mine.
Unless you're on Iona, and then Lindsay loves it.
I had a bit of a revelation on Iona, and they've got a different menu on there. Whether they end up taking that across the fleet is another matter, but the menu for me was much more to my liking, and I really, really enjoyed it. So we're due back on Iona very shortly, and there may be another visit there to test out the menu again.
The other favourites, we've had the Glass House on Britannia and on Aurora. We really like the food on there. Not so keen on the menus in the Glass House on Iona, which is a bit of a shame. But the other one that springs to mind is Sabatini's. Oh, Sabatini's on Princess is out of this world, and it's not only the food, but the ambience and the maitre d' and the staff in there just so wonderful.
There was another revelation on Iona, which I think we've mentioned in one of our other vlogs, and which is a secret never to be told to anybody, and that's the Olive Grove. It's a marvellous place. It's one of the first things we will do when we get onto Iona the next time, is to book it straight away so that we don't miss out. The food, the service, the ambiance is absolutely amazing, and really, really enjoyable. We enjoy the daytime activities on board ships, although in the last, since the return to cruising, some of them have been a little lacking, but then we know the reasons for that. My favourite has probably got to be shuffleboard. We've played shuffleboard for many years, and although I'm not at all sporty, it is one of the few sports that I can actually win at.
I do have a special nickname for my exploits in the shuffleboard court, and I am known as First Round Ken, because I always get knocked out in the first round.
But while we were on board this year, we also, because there wasn't enough room on the shuffleboard courts for us to have a game between us, we ended up having a go at quoits and teaching ourselves quoits. Now that turned out to be quite interesting, didn't it?
Yeah, she thrashed me at that as well.
Not sporty at all, but I was quite good at quoits. Perhaps I'm good at throwing things.
I think it's a killer instinct. Well, you were quite good at throwing things. I remember on the cruise we had in the Baltics once, Lindsay actually had a go at axe throwing, which might hail back to her Danish heritage from centuries ago.
No, apparently it's to do with being a woman.
Some of you may have noticed that we've been joined by our little friend, our little Jack Russell dog called Dax, who likes to get involved with most things that we do. My other favourite daytime sport is cricket. We have a really good time up up on the sports deck on Aurora primarily, and I met a very good friend called Alan up there, and we were playing cricket up there one year with Matt Letitia, and he might have been a really good footballer, but boy, he could have been a professional cricketer as well, the way he was playing.
One of our pastimes on the ship, it carries on from some of the pastimes that we do here at home with amateur dramatics, and that is the choir. We have been getting involved in the choir for some years. Sometimes it's one of us and sometimes it's both of us. It depends what other activities are going on at the time. But we've had some really good times in the choir. The end performances have been such great fun. And the people that actually take the choir have been some of the professional musicians or the headliners company, and they have had such wonderful personalities and have always made it fun for us. We've had some times when we've been singing in the atrium, or we might be singing on the main stage at the front of in the theatre. We were actually singing in the Crow's Nest one night.
Oh, the thunder and lightning.
We had the thunder and lightning. We were singing an excerpt from Les Mis, and we had the thunder and lightning behind us as we sailed out of, I think we were sailing out of Venice, weren't we?
Yeah, I think so.
And everybody went into rapturous applause, and the choir thought that we had done such a fantastic job. I think it was actually largely to do with the fact that it looked spectacular.
Yeah. Another one of our favourite pastimes on board is to enjoy the entertainment, and that's all aspects of it, whether it be a show in the theatre, a show in one of the show lounges, maybe some live music playing. We recently went to the Limelight Club on Britannia as well. Comedians, jugglers, magicians, we love them all. It's so nice, and I think after coming back from the cruise shutdown, that was one of the things that we really appreciated most, was the return of live entertainment, because we've been starved of it at home as well. And to actually get on board ship, even with the odd restriction that's in place now.
I think this one might sound a little bit obvious, but one of my favourite things is the sea. It's just so nice to be able to hear the sea, see the sea from the aspect of being on a ship, to feel the motion of the sea, as long as it's not too much. But just to be able to be in that situation is quite a privilege, I think. And if you are lucky enough to have a balcony, it's even more so, because you have much more ready access to see it. But there is something special about the sea. It helps me go off to sleep. The sound of the sea, the rocking of the sea, it has been known for me not to be able to wake up terribly easily because that's it. It just sends me to sleep.
One of the other obvious things that we do enjoy is visiting new places. We've had some wonderful trips all around the Mediterranean, up to the Baltics, across to the far eastern Mediterranean, over to Egypt and Cyprus. One special one that rings in mind is our trip to USA and Canada, which was wonderful. You may say, well, you haven't really gone the other side of the world yet. Well, that's down to Lindsay, really, because she doesn't like flying. Her arms tend to get very tired with all the flapping. So we usually only sail from the UK. And unless we start doing world cruises, we're not going to get to the other side of the world, are we, dear? Particular favourite places, yours?
I think one of my favourite places to visit in general would be the Baltics, because I think the cities that you go to are amazing. I have a soft spot for Finland as well, so I really enjoy going back to Helsinki. And I like the USA Canada trip. There's a huge amount to see there, and of course the people that you meet and the guides and everything are just so good. But if I was to pick a place to go back to on a regular basis, it would be Gibraltar.
Gibraltar?
Yeah.
Home from home?
Yeah.
I like Venice very much. I like Rhodes. Been there quite a few times. Malta, we've actually only sailed there once, but that was beautiful sailing from there. The sailing out of Stockholm is something special, out through the islands. Rome, I mean, you love Rome, don't you?
I do love Rome, but the trouble is that when we go there, it's generally very hot.
And?
And I don't like it being hot.
No, I know. Naples, down the bottom end of Italy, we're quite fond of Italy, aren't we?
You could go on and on.
Yeah.
You could talk about virtually everywhere you go and have something special to say about every port.
St. Petersburg.
St. Pete's, yeah, it's absolutely
It's
amazing.
the only place I've ever been to a ballet, twice.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can wherever you go, and it's very much what you make of it. If you want to do your own thing, or if you want to go on a guided tour, that's fine. But just make the most of what time you have in each city and the availability of what's there.
I think it's quite noticeable now that some of the cruise companies have stopped calling them short excursions and are now calling them short experiences. And we have had some experiences, haven't we? I mean, you've done your axe throwing. We went camel riding somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know, there's I've been up in a helicopter down in Madeira as an experience. We've done the toboggan ride in Madeira. You know, so we are getting experiences rather than just visiting the places.
Tapas trails.
Tapas trails.
Winery visits.
Yeah.
All sorts of things that you can get involved in doing. Most people here would think that I'm spoilt because I have a husband that looks after me extremely well. But actually, if you're talking about being spoilt, the place you need to be is on a cruise ship. From the time you walk on to the time you actually leave the ship, you can be spoilt 24 hours a day. Whether it's ordering room service, going to the restaurants, having your cabin detailed, just whatever you need, whatever you want, everything is available to be done for you.
We've met some lovely staff on board, whether it be from entertainment managers and ENTS officers through to cabin stewards, barmen. They're very good people to learn to know, can be very helpful at times. And some of the memories that we have from days in port, perhaps, when we haven't got off the ship for whatever reason. And you can be surrounded by waiters and they'll come up and start chatting to you. And they'll say they remember you from this cruise 6 years ago on here, and remember on this one from this date. And I don't know how they got such a fantastic memory for remembering you.
If you then take it a stage further and talk about the Cunard restaurants, and we didn't do any speciality restaurants on the Cunard trip because we didn't have time. But to be honest, we didn't need to. The service in the main restaurant was just amazing. The service particularly, and wherever you went on that ship, whichever bar, whether you were having coffee, whether you were having a cocktail, it made no difference. It was service with a flair. It was amazing. Step up from many of the other cruise ships. You're paying for it, don't get me wrong. But to have that extra on top of what you would normally expect on a cruise ship anyway, it is just incredible.
We hope you've enjoyed listening to us, and we'd really like to hear what your favourite things are. So if you've got something that we haven't mentioned that you really love about cruising, because cruising means so many things to so many different people, please put it in the comment box below. Oh, and while you're doing it, hit the subscribe button and
hit the little notification bell.
That way you can spend more of your time listening to us talking about cruising.